It's a feature documentary that follows Taylor Lane as he builds these beautiful surfboards from cigarette butts all picked up off the beach in California and Hawaii. And he uses the boards as this way to connect with professional surfers and ocean activists around the world that are doing something in their communities to protect and restore the health of the ocean. And it really gives Taylor this platform to ask, what can I do? What can anyone do to be a better steward of the sea?
The Cigarette Surfboards, which were started back in 2017 from Vissla and Surf Fighters contest, which was the creators contest to make an article of surf craft out of upcycled materials. So what better than thousands of cigarette butts littered on the beaches turned into some kind of functional wave riding machine. And so that took us through this whole plight of improving the board's surfability, which, like Ben said, took us around the world and really allowed us to tap into some of these other communities and individuals and what they're doing. And the boards really served as this kind of like gateway to understanding what we can begin to do to protect and restore the ocean. And it kind of comes full circle on a personal journey and really just begs the question that the boards are really a reflection of our social and environmental responsibility to the ocean and beyond. We had actually applied to the contest a year before, and we gave top 15 out of 300 international entries, but we didn't make a surfboard. So we were there that night after the contest. We had a couple beers. We were sitting on the curb, and Ben's like, "How do we make a surfboard? What do we do?" And I go, "I don't know. There's straws," and he goes, "There's napkins," and then he goes, "Cigarette butts," and I'm like, "You're crazy, dude." He's like, "But like cigarette butts." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know about that." So I had enough time to really kind of digest that and figure it out. So I started experimenting with like virgin cigarette butt filters, and soon enough I kind of found this plausible way to make surfboards out of them. Wax up, wax on, wax off. It's funny, with the cigarette butts, it actually makes it easier to put wax on. It creates these little like bumps. Don't know if it'll help my surfing, but.
And so as surfers ourselves, we just saw this as an opportunity to, make this statement about something that we see on the beach every day, littered cigarette butts. It's the most littered item in the world. And so people come to us with like, "Oh, you should make one out of lighters, out of whatever, any styrofoam." And people have made through that contest tons of cool stuff over the years. And, for us, this really symbolizes like the flick of a cigarette symbolizes this bigger story of our relationship with out of sight, out of mind, not my problem, not my individual responsibility. But as these surfboards show, the problem really does add up.
We work with professional surfboard shapers that shape us the blank. This one's done by Mark Andrini, and this one's done by Rob Machado. They donate the foam blank to us. And then what happens is after we get all our cigarette butts still picked up off the beach from other great ocean conservation groups, we put them through this kind of machine that sort of flattens them and vacuum presses them, and it's kind of a very long, drawn out process that's taken over. It's about 70 to 100 hours per board. So we meticulously place each of these cigarette butts, and they turn into a veneer sheet that then get vacuum bagged into the top and the bottom of the board. And then from there, it's a standard process of fiberglassing and putting the fins in.
The movie, we started filming it in 2017. It took us 6 years to complete it. And, really, to me, the biggest theme of the film is it follows Taylor's journey to really do something bigger than himself. He committed himself to building these boards over the course of several years, and it eventually led him to tackle policy in the city of Santa Cruz in California to try to help influence the local policy that banned the sale of single-use filters citywide. And so I think the film is about, as surfers, we have a responsibility to stand up for the ocean, and the ocean has no voice, so if we don't do it, who else will?
And I think it's also about, the film explores just a handful of people around the world that are really doing inspiring and incredible work. And again, the boards take us to these incredible places and dive deeper into these personal stories. And so the film takes on like many faces. It's not just a surf film. It's not just an environmental documentary. It's exciting, it's thrilling, and it's really solution oriented. We were very adamant when we created this film that there's enough environmental films out there that are just pretty much like stop eating meat and go jump off a cliff, and that's just not the narrative that the world needs, and it's not the truth. And so the truth is that humans have created these problems and we can design our way out of it, and the surfboards are just but one example of ingenuity and creativity, and we're not the only ones that are capable of that. And so, you know, the film, those characters, all those people have a huge influence, and you really feel that in the plight of the story.
Yeah.